Dave Hone opens the discussion by vividly describing the sheer gigantism of Tyrannosaurus rex. The iconic predator was colossal, measuring approximately 12 meters in length and weighing around 7 metric tons, comparable in mass to orca whales, but on land. Standing beside a T-Rex skeleton, one experiences the astonishing scale, with feet reaching knee height and a skull large enough for an adult human to fit comfortably through its jaws. The robustness of the T-Rex's skull, fused nasal bones, and powerful musculature supported one of the most formidable bite forces ever seen in terrestrial predators, allowing it to crush bone effortlessly. Despite its fearsome jaw and thick, bone-crushing teeth, the dinosaur's relatively small forelimbs, sporting just 2 fingers each, were surprisingly ineffectual for grappling prey. Hone explains that the arms had minimal ligament attachment points and were weaker compared to other theropods, suggesting their role in hunting was limited. Its feet were adapted for stability and efficient energy use, with a diamond-shaped cross-section of metatarsal bones that locked the foot for spring-like energy return during walking. The T-Rex's eyes, tennis ball-sized, afforded it excellent vision, likely adapted to nocturnal hunting, revealing adaptations to its ecological niche beyond just brute force. Hone emphasizes that the T-Rex was a dominant but unique carnivore, existing with little direct competition, dramatically larger than all other predators in its ecosystem. It preyed mainly on large herbivores such as Triceratops, Edmontosaurus, and Parasaurolophus, as well as juvenile and smaller animals. However, it rarely, if ever, targeted animals the size of adult velociraptors, which were much smaller and offered insufficient energetic reward, likened to lions hunting mice. Instead, T-Rex most often hunted or scavenged juveniles of large species, a pattern consistent with predator-prey size dynamics observed in modern ecosystems. The predator's locomotion was more akin to power walking than running, with stride lengths of approximately 4 or 5 meters, allowing it to cover ground quickly, though unlikely ever achieving true running speeds. Estimates place its maximum speed at around 25 miles per hour, a swift pace for an animal of its mass, but insufficient to outpace smaller, faster prey. Hone's insight that T-Rex's hunting likely resembled persistence predation, jogging and wearing prey down over distance, fits with its size, biomechanics, and known habitat openness, where ambush tactics were limited. The idea of T-Rex as a purely scavenging animal has been debunked, with evidence of healed bite marks and scavenging behaviors clear, pointing to a dual role as hunter and scavenger. The conversation transitions to the fascinating art and science of uncovering dinosaur fossils. Fossil hunting today resembles historical methods involving searching sedimentary rock outcrops, often in geologically favorable areas, scouring for bone fragments protruding even slightly from the terrain. Hone describes how quarry workers may accidentally uncover fossils during routine mining or stone cutting, where the volume of rock shifted yields only rare finds but scales up the chance of discovery. Excavating large skeletons like the famed T-Rex specimen Stan involves a meticulously slow process of removing overburdened rock by hand and machine, mapping bones precisely using grids or modern photogrammetry, and encasing specimens in plaster jackets for safe transport. Preparation in the lab includes hours of delicate cleaning and preservation, aided by reversible glues like paraloid to strengthen fragile bones without damaging them. Large fossils often require heavy machinery for extraction, unless found on protected land where manual labor is mandatory, demonstrating the logistical challenge and collaboration inherent in paleontological work. Hone reflects on the evolutionary journey of tyrannosaurs from their small, lightly built Jurassic ancestors, 2 to 3 meters long creatures with long arms and less robust skulls, to the massive apex carnivores of the late Cretaceous. The gradual trend towards gigantism owes much to evolutionary scaling rules, including Cope's rule, which posits that species tend to increase in size over generations. Larger size brought advantages such as more efficient locomotion, dominance in intraspecific competition, and expanded prey options, but came with significant reproductive and survival trade-offs, including vulnerability to extinction. The distinctive thick, fused nasal bones and the robust build of the T-Rex's skull reflect an adaptation to deliver the extreme bite force that sets it apart from other tyrannosaurs. Phylogenetically, Tyrannosaurs split into groups with varying skull morphology. The slender-snouted Allioromans, adapted for smaller prey and faster strikes, and the massive-headed Tyrannosaurines, including Tyrannosaurus and Tarbosaurus, which evolved crushing bites to tackle increasingly large prey. This evolutionary arms race mirrors ecological pressures that shape predator-prey dynamics over deep time. Delving into dinosaur behavior, Hone highlights the immense challenges in interpreting social structures or hunting strategies, such as pack hunting, due to sparse and ambiguous fossil evidence. While some trackways and bone beds suggest groups of dinosaurs moving together, the evidence is insufficient to confirm cooperative hunting. Analogies with extant animals, such as leopards and hyenas, reinforce that close association does not necessarily indicate coordinated predation, as solitary hunters may traverse the same paths independently. Hone points out that sociality and sexual selection most likely played key roles in dinosaur lives, as indicated by elaborate cranial crests, frills, and ornamentation found in many species. These features signify visual displays for mating, social communication, and dominance, analogous to modern animals' socio-sexual traits. The possibility of mutual sexual selection, where both sexes exhibit elaborate features, hints at complex mating behaviors and even parental cooperation. Yet, distinguishing males from females and definitively identifying social behaviors remains limited by incomplete samples and lack of direct observation. Assessing the cognitive abilities of T-Rex and other dinosaurs, Hone stresses that while the sizable brain cases demonstrate competent sensory organ development, especially olfactory bulbs and large eyes, this does not imply human-like intelligence. Brain-to-body size ratios and neuron counts, when corrected for scaling and tissue estimates, liken dinosaurian neural capacities closely to modern reptiles such as crocodilians, rather than primates or birds with exceptional cognition. Modern imaging techniques, like CT scanning, have enabled detailed reconstructions of brain cavities and inner ears, revealing hearing ranges and sensory acuity. However, interpreting intelligence levels from these data remains speculative. Some early controversial claims suggesting primate-level intelligence in T-Rex have been critically challenged and revised toward more conservative estimates. The brain arrangement of dinosaurs reflects their physiological requirements for large body control rather than the complex reasoning associated with higher animals, though certain small theropods likely showed higher cognitive traits comparable with intelligent birds today. A groundbreaking revelation in dinosaur paleontology is that feathers are not exclusive to birds, but well attested in numerous theropod groups, including tyrannosaurs and dromaeosaurs, extending at least into the Middle Jurassic. Feathers originally evolved for insulation and later took on roles in visual communication and sexual selection. These proto-feathers were simple filaments akin to down, later evolving more complex vein structures, enabling display and possibly flight. Birds represent the direct living descendants of small feathered theropods, making them true dinosaurs in the evolutionary lineage. Hone explains that the survival of birds through mass extinction events, along with their advanced plumage diversification, underlines key evolutionary innovations in communication and thermoregulation. The multifunctionality of feathers, as insulation, signaling, and display, highlights evolution's layered processes and underscores how traits can shift roles across millions of years, reflecting dynamic selective pressures. The mass extinction event at the Cretaceous-Paleogene boundary, triggered primarily by a colossal asteroid impact in what is now Mexico, resulted in rapid and devastating environmental upheaval. The immediate effects included thermal radiation, global wildfires, and an extended nuclear winter, from debris blocking sunlight, leading to collapse of ecosystems worldwide. Hone notes that large-bodied terrestrial animals, such as the non-avian dinosaurs, were particularly vulnerable due to their high resource requirements, limited dispersal ability, and low reproductive rates. Despite this global cataclysm, some dinosaur lineages, specifically certain birds, survived and went on to flourish, though with reduced diversity initially. The possibility of small isolated populations of non-avian dinosaurs persisting briefly after the extinction remains tantalizing, but is hindered by the incompleteness of the fossil record. Hone underscores the broader evolutionary lesson that extinction is the dominant pattern in Earth's history, with survival and exception shaped by a complex interplay of biology, ecology, and chance. The podcast explores the enduring influence of the Jurassic Park franchise, shaped both by public imagination and evolving scientific knowledge. Hone acknowledges that while the films take creative liberties, particularly exaggerating dinosaur sizes, behaviors such as pack hunting in velociraptors, and predator capabilities, they have significantly popularized dinosaurs and funded real paleontological research through associated foundations. However, he stresses many myths propagated by the movies, like the T-Rex's inability to see prey that's not moving, or Velociraptor's erroneous size and intelligence, bear correcting. Some inaccuracies stem from narrative demands, but Hone argues that scientifically informed portrayals can coexist with compelling storytelling without additional difficulty to creators. Ultimately, Jurassic Park remains a cultural touchstone, but the scientific community continues refining dinosaur knowledge far beyond Hollywood's scope. Throughout the dialogue, Hone underscores paleontology as a vibrant, evolving discipline, fueled by new discoveries, advancing technologies, and comprehensive comparative analyses with living species. He advocates for prioritizing extensive population-based studies, such as those possible with Protoceratops, to unlock behavioral and life history insights that single specimens cannot provide. Challenges remain, especially in inferring behavior, sexual dimorphism, and sociality from fragmentary evidence, but burgeoning methods like histology, stable isotope analysis, and high-resolution imaging are expanding scientific horizons. Hone envisions future breakthroughs arising from such integrative approaches, strengthened by collaborative efforts and enhanced funding, including land acquisition for fossil protection. This approach can yield a richer, more nuanced understanding of dinosaur biology well beyond their skeletal remains. The conversation culminates with the affirmation that dinosaurs are not extinct but continue vibrantly through their avian descendants. Hone clarifies that birds are evolutionarily nested within theropods, representing a living lineage that survived mass extinction and diversified spectacularly. This continuity enriches our perspective on the dinosaur lineage, connecting the ancient past with the present and enabling observations of behavior, physiology, and evolution in extant organisms. Furthermore, Hone reflects on the evolutionary interplay between incremental anatomical changes and large-scale adaptations, driving biodiversity over hundreds of millions of years. Dinosaurs' dominance of terrestrial ecosystems for over 140 million years, a vast epoch spanning the Jurassic and Cretaceous, speaks to their evolutionary success and forging of ecological relationships echoed today in their feathered progeny. Recognizing this living link deepens both scientific insight and public engagement with Earth's profound natural history.